Alright, welcome to the tour, welcome to the journey. I'm assuming that you started by going through Porto. And you would start at the airport, take the metro. It's a pretty normal thing to do. You can take a cab, but metro is pretty easy, pretty straightforward. And then if you forgot to exchange your money, you can stop at Caroline and Michela station on the metro. And I've laid out a max pay. It's an exchange for dollars or whatever you have to euros. They have pretty good rates, best rates around Porto that I've found. Then you can get back on at actually Casa de Musica is the metro stop. And get back on Casa de Musica. That is, unless you need to stop at a camping store. There's a fantastic camping store. Really excellent. I could go on forever, but truly excellent. If you need anything, then at that point you'd be walking back down to Caroline and Michela station, and you'd go to the Trinidad metro station. And if you booked your hostel room at Porto Wine Hostel, you'd get off at Trinidad. It's a bit of a walk. And you'd stop by Vodafone and get a Vodafone chip if you haven't already. You're going to need a Vodafone chip. You're going to need your data. And you're going to need it when you want it and where you want it. It's your data and you need it now. Then proceed to Porto Wine Hostel, as we've talked about. It's a pretty cool hostel. There are other ones by the riverfront, but I feel there's more of a jump-in culture, local community here. There's waterfront is jumping, but it's more of a transient tourist. You don't get a local feel and the local vibe. You check in at Porto Wine Hostel, they'll probably charge you $2 in random other fees in cash, and then they'll promptly give you a shot of port wine, or maybe 2 or 3 shots of port wine, and they show you to your room. There's lots of room in the rooms. It's pretty area. It feels spread out, and you have a view of that park down there, Jardim de Cordoaria. Yeah, that one. Once you're all settled in, there's two, among many other things, I've laid out 2 cathedrals to go check out: Claragos Church and Igreja do Carmo. The old train station with, I forget what they call it, but it's like mural art it's tile art. It's right there. And then if you're looking for a place to eat, there's a lot of them on Rue de Paris. I haven't checked them out extensively, so I can't give you advice, but there's a lot on Paris Street. And there's also some street musicians. If you see a street musician that's Brazilian named Dalton and he's got an acoustic guitar, tip that guy, please and thank you. It's worth it. There's more music if you go if you wander a little bit northwest of there. And there's also some grocery stores that I've laid out. I've laid out the larger one, and that's got chain stuff. Not as good food, not as local, not as fresh, and a smaller one. I've laid them out there in the descriptions. There's a McDonald's you really don't want to go to because nefarious people follow tourists and assert their needs upon them. There's also some laundromats. There's one that's closer and there's one that's farther away that's better priced. And if you're taking your lady, you want it to be special, there's also a hotel that I've mapped out for you. If you're going through Lisbon, I won't talk about that, but there is a tab with some things there to check out. If you feel like you're a savvy tourist, it's not your first time, and you're willing to deal with the chaos, and you have some extra money to spend, maybe a lot of money to spend, because every time you turn around in Lisbon, you're paying for stuff. It's cool, but I'd recommend that you go through Porto if you're newer to all this. And Porto is cool anyway. Porto and Lisbon have their own individual feels, but Porto is definitely easier to navigate. Now, for day 1 in Madeira proper, you'll be staying at Residencial Monaco, is the one that I've laid out for you. It's right across the street from the Serious Breakfast Place, and vice versa. If it's 2 people, it's like 25 euros each for a shared room. You got a balcony. It's pretty cool. Then you go to Blitz Rent Madeira. It's a short walk from there. I have a lot in the description about why I went with Blitz Rent Madeira. I haven't experimented with personal experience with checking out the other motorcycle rental places, moped and motorcycle rental places, but I was looking through some of their business practices and the way that things are presented in their marketing, and a lot of the other places kind of have holes and a lot of room for you to be over the barrel if something goes wrong. And I like the business practices of Blitz Rent. There's a lot more that I could say on that, but you want to be careful and smart with who you rent with, because if mainly for the insurance reasons, if something happens to the bike, chocolate melts, bikes fall down and get scratched. I talked to the owner in Blitz Rent Madeira, and he showed me some email chains of some people where something happened to the bike, and you know they're pretty lenient and cool with it. If it's scratched, they're like, you know what, it's okay. If there's more serious damage, you know, they charge you what it would take to fix the bike, not whatever they want to charge you, because there was no policy for that kind of a situation. So I like Blitz Rent Madeira a lot. I kind of have an eye for businesses. They kind of fascinate me, and I really looked at all the businesses around, the motorcycle rental businesses, and I like that one a lot, and I had good experience with them. Now that you're on your motorcycle, hopefully it's not raining. You're going along the south coast ride, gently moving north on the south coast. You're going to Miradouro dos Prazeres. If you don't speak Portuguese, that's lookout. There's a hike down those steep cliffs there. They might have it closed off, but they might not. If you can't get all the way to the bottom, then maybe come back up promptly, so you don't get to where they close it off and have to come back up. If you can't get all the way to the bottom, take a cab. Again, I forget the application that they have instead of Uber, but I have it in the description. Take a cab back up to the top. You don't want to waste your time coming back up to the top. It's super steep. That's pretty cool, but they might have part of the trail closed off. Next is another lookout, Miradouro Faro de Ponta do Pargo. That's further along the coast. You don't need the exact directions. I have it laid out there. Further along the coast, it's a cool lookout. Sheer cliffs. There's also a coffee spot. If you're coming back from the road there, they have not just espresso and Americanos, but they have a wide variety of different types and presentations of coffee and pastries, stuff of that nature. And you're going to continue along the coast all the way to the Porto Muniz area. I have a hike laid out. You don't have to do that one. It's pretty cool, but if you're low on time, it's not the coolest thing today. The Vara da Ribeira, da Janela. Yeah, you try that. Pretty cool. I would say just go down the road a little bit. Just take the hike a little bit and come back. Don't do the whole thing unless you're really fast and got a lot of time, because the pools at Porto Muniz are pretty cool. They're a nice place to hang out for a while, and it's kind of a social area as well. They're called the piscinas naturales. Piscinas as in don't do that in the pools. And there's a cool place to eat right there, and you know they don't charge you a lot just because it's a cool location. It's the Pulsas Cafe. And then maybe check out the camping park, Porto Muniz. This is your camping spot for the night. If you don't have reservations, you can I'd say most likely go to the one-armed man. He's not a one-armed bandit. He's not a slot machine. He's a man, and try to pay for a spot there. That's what I did, but it's better to have reservations. I wouldn't count on that. But if you're more adventurous and you don't have reservations, you know what to do. You know what to do. And then, if you're all settled, you're satisfied with your campsite, go down along the North Coast Road and check out the lighting. If it's later in the day, check out the lighting on the coast further to the east, and you'll see the last beams of daylight for the day. It's pretty cool. São Vicente has a lot of eating options there. I've just mapped out where all the eating options are. You know, they're kind of similar. There's a beach there, but there's not often people on the beach. It's kind of just to see. And now we're gonna go for day 2. Ready for day 2? The big thing for day 2 is trying to get to the mountain, Pico Revo. So you're gonna want to get there kind of early, but there are some cool lookouts along the way. I know I presented you with a challenge. It's a really beautiful ride there, so you know, don't hurry too much. But I would leave your campsite early so you have time to get to the mountain parking lot and start that small hike to the mountain. Do that early and check out some of those lookouts. I have the parking spot for the hike and trailhead itself. Very cool, very cool. I haven't said what order of best hike it is on the island, but you know, it's one of the best hikes on the island. And after that, it's a short ride to Lavado do Caldeirão Verde. If you're Portuguese, don't shoot me for butchering that. It's a waterfall and rainforest hike, 11.7k round trip. Pretty cool. I have all that laid out in the descriptions on the Google Maps. That's the 5th best hike on the island. It's pretty cool. And there's a store there, Continente Modelo Santana. It's a short ride from there. I routed you to stores that are easy to get to. Certainly not in Funchal, because it's hard to get around Funchal. Your map starts to freak out because let's say that your map will start to freak out in those Portuguese cities proper. So that grocery store is a short stop. Then you can get right back on the highway if you want to get food supplies, because you'll need food supplies for breakfast the next day and possibly lunch the next day. But I have a lunch spot for you right after you check out your the hike to the campsite. Just scope it out. That's at São Lourenço, Ponta de São Lourenço. That's pretty cool. Check out the hike that you're gonna do with your bags later, and it's not a long time, but you know, you're gonna need to do that before sunset ideally. So check that out and estimate yourself how long you're gonna take to do that. It should take half an hour, but stop there and check it out, and it's just cool to see in the daylight. And then very, very short ride from there. Canisal is a beach and a lunch spot. Both are just spectacular. Cold water, but clear water. Beautiful. Restaurante Prainha. Beautiful. Beautiful. Check it out. And then chill out there for the rest of the day, especially if you've done 2 hikes. You'll be tired. You'll like that cold water for your muscles and your bones. And then later, about 45 minutes before sunset, head back to that trailhead to your camping spot for the night. It's the second best hike on the island, by the way. Pretty incredible hike. That's it for day 2.